Hello everyone, it's Edwina here, and today I'm showing you my altered bear inspired by Marie-Antoinette, and this is my entry for Belinda challenge, and I will put the link to the challenge in the description box. There's still time to enter. It doesn't close until the end of June, so if you're quick. Now this has taken me quite a long time, many weeks to create. It has been quite a challenge. I've never done anything like this before. It was way out my comfort zone. I'm not even sure why I attempted it. It was a bit ambitious of me, but I got there in the end. A lot of trial and tribulation, and you know, almost at tears occasionally. But I'm quite pleased with the result, and I hope you like it as well. So what happened was, I had no idea what to make. In fact, I'm not even sure if at the day I went to the charity shop and I found this lone bear on the shelf, I don't know then that I had any plans for it at all. I just saw it. It was on its own on the shelf, and I just grabbed it. I have a bear collection, and I just thought I'd add it to my collection. And then a few days later, when I had to think outside the box, I mean, it may not be really outside the box, because that's what Belinda wants, by the way, because I'm sure people have altered bears. In fact, I know people have altered bears before. Whether they've altered them in this, you know, inspired by Marie-Antoinette, that's another thing. But as I say, I thought I would attempt it with this bear that has found a new life and will be going off to Australia, and I hope that Belinda likes her as well. Right, what you're looking at, and I'll bring them up closer to the camera, are the shoes I made for her. And these were my first thing I attempted, and they were actually reasonably easy. If anything is easy. I think I just measured around the... Whoa, sorry, moved the camera. Just measured around the foot of the bear, and I used that measurement to create the shoe. Now, I did do a bit of research, and they did tend to be this shape, and of course the bear doesn't fit down the narrow bit. He just, her. If I call the bear he, you'll have to forgive me, because for some unknown reason, even though she's dressed beautifully as a girl, I still keep calling her him. I don't know why. Poor thing, having a crisis about identity. Anyway, so it's sorry. The material I have used is pelham weight interfacing. It's very stiff, but it's pliable as well. So that is what I've actually used to create it. It's covered in silk and felt, inside and out the felt, and I'm framed absolutely not sorry. And so it's made with silk, the top, and it's felt inside, whoops, and out. Um, and then I basically decorated it with there's some lace trim around the edge of the shoe, and there's a ruffle that I created out of some ribbon, and there's some pearls down the front, and then there's the bow and the bling to finish it off. Yeah, just about get it in the frame. So that's the shoe. Well, I made 2 of them, and I think that was the least stressful part of the um, creation. I'll put them on here, her feet. I've actually put some Velcro in the bottom of the shoe and on the bottom of her feet. My main fear when I was making this bear was I was worried that it would look ridiculous for some reason, because Marie-Antoinette, she tended to be, you know, her clothes tended to be a bit over the top, you know. I mean, it was a time of excess and lavishness and etc. And I did wonder that if, you know, if I go too far, the bear, but in the end I don't think that happened. Right, you ready for this? Here we have, and it won't fit in the frame, we have, let's start at her head. I've made the hat. Now the hat was the last thing I made, and the most difficult. Well, no, it wasn't actually. Once I knew what I was doing, it wasn't that difficult actually. I did have about 1 or 2 attempts at it, and finally got there. I particularly love this Nottingham lace that I used. It's beautiful. And then it's got this ruffled trim with some pearls, and actually that is also the interfacing, the stiffness, so that actually holds it on the head. Then we've got this bow and the bling and the lovely feathers, which I've never really used feathers in this way, and I just think they look fabulous. And then if I turn it round, now I did look at the hats that she wore, and this is not quite what she would have worn, but then I wasn't actually trying to copy, I was just trying to interpret my own interpretation of it. And they did, but all her hats had this lace down the back, and this is my version of it. Originally I made it far too long, but so I doubled it up, and I like how it ended up, finished it off. So right, the dress. I would say the dress was the most difficult thing. I'm not a dressmaker, and I've never made a dress in my life. And making one for a bear, well, that was the challenge for me. but I got there in the end. If you look inside, underneath, the stitching isn't my best. I mean, machine stitching okay, but when you're working with silk it frays dreadfully, and I didn't have enough to really do proper seams, so I haven't done a good job on that, but the front the outside looks okay. So if we look at the actual dress first, I've used two lots of I'll lift the ruffle up, silk. The top half is this embroidered silk, and I put this vintage lace around the middle, and that is so that I could tie it at the back, because the dress is a bit too big for her, but it's difficult. I wanted to make one that was actually removable, and of course, you know, to do that you need to make it a bit big. It is removable, and the reason for that is because if I turn around again, if you lift up and I lift up this, you see I have put some ribbon around the neck, so you just loosen that and you can take it off. The sleeves again are a bit long, a bit big. I tried to shorten them, but it just didn't work, and I left them as they are. And so and then you just tie the ribbon, and that's how you get it on and off. This is the rather cat-handed bow that's on the back where I've tied it together. Okay, so anyway, we have this ruffle with this gorgeous lace, which actually is the same as the lace on the skirt, and then we have the bow and some bling. Now bows and ruffles were dominant, I would say, in her clothing, so that's what I tried to imitate. I did 3 rows of lace on the sleeve, this bow and bling, and I put this gold trim round as well, and that's on both sleeves. So let's have a look, see if I've showed you properly. There, that's the sleeve, the bow, and you can see the bling. It just goes around half the way. Okay, now the bottom half of the skirt is a different silk background. In fact, you can see it better on the back because I've left it plain. The reason for that is I only had I started with the skirt because I thought that would be easier to do, and I was going to use this silk for the top as well, but I only had a small amount of this silk, and I actually cut out a top that turned out to be far too small, and I didn't have any more silk, so I had to use the other silk, but I don't think it matters. So what we have is just the skirt and a ruffle and some gold trim around the bottom, and that's more or less the back. Now on the front we have 3 rows of lace, gathered lace down the front. Then we have this ruffle with some pearls down the side, and that's made out of organza ribbon, and that's done down both sides. Some gold trim along the front, and then this bow and bling at the waist. Yeah, and this ruffle lace is actually the same lace as the skirt. Just to tie it all together. Okay, now she is wearing a petticoat. Let's lift the skirt up. And actually this was the first thing, I mean, after the shoes, this was because I could make skirts. Skirts are easy. I just put some lace, it's silk, again it's silk, it's white silk, and I put elastic and threaded it round so that it would stay there. And then it's got 4 layers of ruffles, and they go all the way round. Am I in frame? And they go all the way round. I absolutely love the petticoat. Now the last thing I did was try and find some I think I might have them on back to front, but they're too big. Some knickers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got them back to front. And this was by looking at I've got a doll collection as well, and seeing if I could find a spare pair from one of my dolls, and I did actually, and I just felt it was important that she was completely dressed. So these were actually made, and I just put them on, and as you can see they're a bit too big, but it's just to finish it off. You know, she's properly dressed, as it were. So I think that's everything. I'm sorry I can't really show her very well in the video. It's quite difficult. Oh, my hat's come off. It's as I say, it's been way outside my comfort zone. I've no idea what she actually looks like, really. I mean, how she compares with other altered bears. You know, if I've done a good job or not, basically. Now, what I was going to say was, she actually, because these shoes are fairly sturdy, while she won't stand up normally, she does stand up with the shoes. Possibly if I'd handheld the camera at this point, I could then show you a bit better by going round and showing it. Yeah, she just stand up. I wonder if I can just move the camera slightly. No, I don't think that helps. Or does it? No. Anyway, sorry for the wobbling. I just wondered if I could give you a better view of her. Anyway, that's my bear, who will be packaged up now and sent to Australia, and I hope Belinda loves her. And it was fun. I think I learnt from it, and I think you'll sort of guess that I can be a bit ambitious in my creative attempts, and fortunately this one worked. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.